The moment I realized I belonged, my definition of community. I remember the exact moment I knew exactly who I wanted to be. At 13 years old, in middle school, I wanted to be just like everyone else. A star-belly sneetch. Okay, well, not actually, but the children's book, The Sneetches and Other Stories by Dr. Seuss, is the metaphor that perfectly represents my definition of community, or more so, the growth of it. Because it took me too long to realize that the day they decided that sneetches were sneetches, and no kind of sneetch is the best on the beaches, was the island I wanted to live on. So today, we will go back before the star-on machine and look how this little sneetch felt that being themselves wasn't enough. And then look what happened whenever she tried to enter the star-on machine and then finally leave the machine behind, and reflect on the story of the sneetches and why we must base our beaches off of these. The dawn before the star-on machine. This little sneetch always was left to feel that her life was going to be less than everyone else's. She didn't look like everyone else on the playground, and as a 5-year-old, was forced to play the dog during house because she didn't look like everyone else. I felt isolated, ashamed of the color of my skin, my hair, activities I enjoyed. So I wanted to become just like everyone else so that I could just become invisible and blend in with the crowd. So this little sneetch saw her first opportunity to enter the star-on machine. I ran home and I begged my mom to straighten my hair like all the other little girls and to sign up on my permission form to go to cheer tryouts just like they were. And then the machine clonked, and it bonked, and it burped, and it jerked, but the thing really worked. I had changed my appearance and my hobbies so I could be just like the star-belly sneetches. And I had a complete identity crisis. I tried to fit this complex human being into this perfectly cut square hole. And it led me to getting bullied by anyone, getting called whitewashed and belittled just because of my poor attempt of trying to fit in, facing the same battle that every single biracial child has had to face alone. Because it is hard to find your community when you are not really any sort of sneetch, but your own. And the only solution with instant results was turning the machine on again, off again, in again, out again. It was soul crushing. But I thank God for this little sneetch was finally able to find herself and community through performing. Theater was the first hobby that I had that wasn't the traditional sneetch way. It was truly my own. I wanted to do it so much that it brought me to some of the best people I have ever met. People who embraced our differences. People who would listen to me for hours talking, and I would never have to prove myself to them. Which is why I know I belong anywhere I go in the world. Because eventually, all the sneetches forgot about stars and whether or not they had one upon Mars. Just be herself, and the right people will always come. And to leave the machine behind. Because community is a whole mess of individuals who center their lives around different ideologies, but still make the time and effort to love and embrace all of your differences, removing all desire to try and become someone else, and loving you for you. And in the end, I have learned through the sneetches that the day they decided that sneetches were sneetches and no kind of sneetch is the best on the beaches is the greatest form of community that you can have. I remember the exact moment I knew exactly who I wanted to be. Right now, in this moment. Myself. Thank you.